the parents have requested out-of-district placement, and that hasn't been resolved yet. So I want to make sure that I have enough in reserve just in case. So I'm not saying that that's money that's available right now yet. But the closer we get to the end of the year, the more that may be a possibility.
Anyone have any questions on the budget? No. Okay. Item E, the Washington, D.C. trip, the parent survey results. Mr. Seminole?
He's here.
You all have a copy of it?
Yes.
So this is a survey that we developed to gauge the interest of the trip and the kids going to Six Flags. It was put out on SurveyMonkey. It was sent home in the newsletter and verbally told to as many people as we could. There are 121 students right now going to Washington. 32 parents responded, or 32 people responded to the survey. When you look at the results, that first question, that the child is excited about going to Washington, 71% of the parents chose that, which is only 23 students, but, so 23 of the respondents said yes, the child is very excited about going. Only very few, 5 people, said that the child was only excited about going to Washington. Second question, my child is attending the trip, though my reservation regarding Six Flags is, most of the people stated that they had no reservations about going to Six Flags. The people who did respond, 8 of them, said that, park safety. And when we looked at the park and looked at how we were going to address the kids being in the park, everyone was going to have a group of 6 that they were going to roam around with. Either that or we were going to position people throughout the park. The students all have to wear the hats, and they're very recognizable with those hats. So, really park safety, there's one way in, one way out. They're going to be accountable. They're going to be counting all the time. So I really think, park safety is very limited. And then that last question, just about their feelings regarding the trip. If you look at the first 2 answers, that's 27 people out of the 32 think that that it's great that the students get to go to Six Flags, or they didn't care either way. And again, 5 people said that they would rather them not go to Six Flags, and they've let me know that. 5 people responded that way, but I really have only received 1 email, so I'm not sure how the other people had responded to me. So, any questions?
Ms. Sullivan?
I think this does bring up some concern about a trip, and I'm actually happy to hear that, because there should be some concern. And so on the point of the message I get from this, a third have some reservations about Six Flags. But I'm sure some of those third have some concerns about the trip in general. Their middle school student is being allowed to go on an overnight trip with his classmates. With that message, I would certainly encourage the entire trip, not just Six Flags, to be managed as you've managed trips in the past for the middle school, and make sure that the students and the parents recognize the procedures and the behavior that's expected as they enjoy the historic trip to Washington, D.C.
And there is a mandatory meeting that we have for all students and parents of the trip, really telling them what to pack, what this, and we do get into the expectations. At that point, a lot of parents get cell phone numbers of the chaperones so that they can be in contact with them. They find out who their group people are, and actually at that meeting, the nurse who's coming with us is going to have a table all to herself to really address any of the nursing issues, the kids with the medical issues, so.
Well, good luck with that.
I think my only comment to the whole Six Flags thing was, and I've had a student that went, and the chaperones were fabulous. I never had any reservations about, or worries about, other than just letting your child go, about worrying, is she safe? Because the chaperones really did a very, very good job. My only reservation would have been, having experienced it through my daughter, and actually I myself went on the same trip years ago, they're so tired by that last day, and they are just spent, and they're at each other a little bit because it's been a long weekend. And I would just question, are they even going to be up for the park? Physically, more than anything. That was, I think, more my concern. I actually never had any worries about the chaperones, even in the park. It's a relatively small ratio. Most of them are teachers, and they know the kids pretty well. But my only thought was, after being together for all those days, I know my daughter and her friends were just ready to come home at that point. So that was my only thought for it. But,
I'm thinking that the kids' adrenaline is going to kick in, and they're,
perhaps, we'll see, I guess.
Very excited about the park,
First roller
so,
coaster.
and they have much more energy than we do, so.
That's true.
I think the chaperones will be dragging more than anybody else.
That's probably true. That's probably true.
Through the chair.
Mr. Larry?
Is that 121 students more than what you expected when you had your first ratio of chaperone to?
I do believe that's in the ballpark, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's still, I do believe that
6 to
keeps
1.
it to 6 to 1, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Item F, update of a Westport Education Foundation grant approved by the CFS EMA for the No Strings Marionette program at the MAC.
This was one that it's kind of how to explain this, two not-for-profit organizations trying to collaborate to make something happen. Ms. Dufault has been great in getting these grants. And I have to say, I'm going to miss her. She has put in for retirement for next year, and I was just at one of the programs at the MAC. Was it yesterday? Things are starting to blend. But she does a great job, and just giving you a heads up that the monies have actually been approved, even though it's coming from a different organization, not directly the foundation. Eventually, I'll come back to you once. I believe this is for next fall, correct? Is this the main one? It's June? So you will see this again. Just giving you a heads up.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the action agenda. Item A, approval of the field trip for the MAC Pre-K, the Providence Children's Museum in Providence, Rhode Island, May 12th and 13th, 2011. Can I have a motion to approve that?
Rhode Island.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item B, pre-K and kindergarten enrollment.
Right now, we're tracking about 140-plus students actually registering for kindergarten for next year. Our track record has been adding anywhere between 6 to 8 more over the summer. So I'm looking at a possibility of close to 150 students in kindergarten. Just so you know, when I look at those numbers, especially for kindergarten, it's pointing to perhaps needing a 6th teacher. Working on the idea that trying to live within the budget that we have one year to the next, it may cause us to rearrange how we do pre-K. And the question is that something the school committee wants to pursue?